So I hope it. Oh, crap. What's going on? Hope everyone can hear me. Hope everyone can hear me. If you all can hear me, let me know. Have on my headset. So, yep. Hey, hey. Let's see. Uh-oh. Let me. Okay. Oh, shoot. Hey, girl. Okay. Hey, Jess.
Hey, heck me. Okay, let's see what's a good angle for me. All right.
You good? It's about to
Okay.
see what's so good. You like that better?
Um, this is my first time ever doing this, so
No, girl, you fine. I'm like, girl, let me tell you, the first conversation I had today, people couldn't even hear me. They were like, we can't hear you. I was like, oh
oh
Lord.
really? Oh,
I was like, I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
I'm gonna try this.
I
Okay,
try
how's
to
that?
let. That's good. Yay,
Okay.
that's good. Hey, Tiana. Trying to wait for some more people to. I try to give people like a minute or two. It takes some time before Instagram like notifies people that I'm on. So usually what
Right.
happens is like people will jump in and out. So like first you might not have anybody and then all of a sudden we'll see like 20, 30 people and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm trying to reshare. Let me reshare on Facebook and get that. Oh Lord. How are you doing, girl?
I'm good.
Good. I'm like, just I ain't talked to you in so long.
I know. I know.
Are you in Atlanta or are you where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta.
Okay, you're in Atlanta. Okay.
Hmm.
Hey Janae. Hey B Flowers. Okay, so we got some people rolling in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I know Instagram likes to cut you off after like 50 plus minutes, so they will randomly cut you off. So
Oh
we're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
start. So if people kind of jump in and jump out, it's fine. All
Mm.
right, so hey everybody, welcome to our second conversation for tonight. I'm really excited about this conversation as well. Often we do not incorporate pharmacists as a part of our mental health conversation, but they are definitely needed to be a part of the conversation for us to better understand medications, what questions we should be asking, and we need to build some rapport with our pharmacists as well. So tonight I got my notes, but I have Jessica T. Fields. Jessica is a 2013 pharmacy graduate of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. She's a registered pharmacist, a community pharmacist in the metro Atlanta area. And of course, her and I have known each other for years through the Marching 100. So we are Marching 100 sisters, and we were also in the same section. So we have known each other for years. So I'm excited. So first question I want to ask is Jessica. So what led you to choose a career in pharmacy?
Yeah, so choosing a career in pharmacy was I would like to say that it was almost like a byproduct of the best situation possible. It started off with me wanting to be in the medical profession and then trying to figure out how I was going to get through school and pay for it. So knowing that school was going to be expensive, trying to be in the medical field would be even more expensive than just regular college. I sought out opportunities to figure out how can I do both things while trying to maintain like an academic scholarship or doing what I knew best, which was band, and getting a band scholarship. So it kind of just worked out that way. So I remember my senior year in high school, we had an economics teacher, and he literally told us, he said, this was y'all senior project. I need y'all to figure out what you want to be when you grow up, figure out how much you can, where you can go to become that, figure out how much it costs to go to that school, what your education is going to cost you, how much you're going to make after going to school, and if it makes sense. So if I went to a school that cost $200,000 like Harvard, to become, something that didn't pay, the type of salary that could have paid off any type of loans that I may have by going to Harvard, then it wouldn't have made sense. And so that was his project for us. And literally I created a plan and I just stuck to it. So my being in high school, being in a band, going to FAMU on a band scholarship and academic scholarship, it just made sense. And so I identified with the pharmacy program. I knew I could become a doctor in year. Okay. As well as being able to, okay, you there? So being able to become a pharmacist in 6 years and be on scholarship as a band student, plus my academic scholarship, which would pay for my school, it just made sense. And so that's essentially what led me to pharmacy.
Yay. Yes. I think a lot of people now I think people have always known that like anything that's like science based, anything that's medical based is going to be a little pricey. So definitely people are kind of straying away from it, and we see that with the Black community that there is, we percentage wise, there just aren't a lot of us that are in these, pharmaceutical roles, psychiatric roles, therapeutic roles. Those numbers are declining, and people are saying like, hey, we are trying to get people in these roles and, introduce, pharmacists and psychiatrists and therapists and psychologists, to the children. So like you said, so they can understand, they can see the importance, of course, and then make some money. Why not? Like, why not make some money? So my first question for you is, as someone, my platform is about mental health. And so a lot of the people who will be watching kind of our conversation tonight utilize, of course, a pharmacy every 30 days, maybe every 60 or 90 days. So for the people who maybe, just got a diagnosis or, just starting to go to therapy and are even thinking about getting medication, can you explain to us what is the difference between a pharmacy technician and then a pharmacist?
Yeah, sure. So a pharmacy technician, they pretty much, strictly do the technical work of pharmacy. You'll have them doing a lot of your insurance billing, filling prescriptions, the day-to-day tasks, checking out customers, those types of things. They're still very, very important though. So that's not to minimize their role. They can sometimes I love calling my technicians my insurance experts, because they're my third party specialists. Sometimes they just know stuff that I just don't. And so it does. I think I have a slighter edge because I started out as a technician years ago. So I know both roles. But that's essentially what a technician does. But then a pharmacist, I like to say that a pharmacist just makes sure that what the doctor prescribed for you is what you get. And we also ensure that what the doctor prescribed doesn't interact with anything that you currently already take, and that it makes sense. We make sure that what the doctor has prescribed, the dose is correct. We make sure that there's no issues with the prescription before it gets to you. And so that's the base knowledge that we have. And so we essentially just make sure that what the doctor is giving is what's clinically known about the medication, and that it matches up so that the patient can have the best benefit from it.
Perfect. So I know a lot of times, like I know when I go to the pharmacist, of course they always ask you like, hey, would you like to speak to your pharmacist? And I'm like, no, I'm good. But and I think that comes from with fear, and of course being like, I don't want to bother them, and they look busy, and some people feel like they can't connect or kind of have that relationship with their pharmacist. So I wanted to kind of talk to you just kind of about that. So if someone, let's say someone, was prescribed medication and they really just don't understand, or let's say they're taking some medication, they're like, my psychiatrist didn't explain this to me. can they come to you and you kind of educate them on the medications they're taking?
Yes, absolutely. So I always like to tell my patients, and I'm really straight up with my patients. I tell them that, it's not, it's my job to assist you, but it's your job to help yourself, right? So step number one, when you get a prescription, if you cannot read what's on that prescription, chances are I may or I may not. But if you take just a small effort to ask questions before you leave the office, because this is something that you've never seen before, you're not used to it, that's one less problem that can pose an issue in the long run or in the second part of your. You want to know what's on the prescription first off. And that's just for your own knowledge. That's just so that once you get a prescription from the pharmacy, if you were supposed to be prescribed citalopram and you got prescribed escitalopram, you can advocate for that. You can say, I'm sorry, I thought that the prescription said X, Y, and Z, but I got ABC. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is absolutely, if you have questions about your medication, you definitely can ask the pharmacist. I think the main issue though is that patients tend to not have questions because they don't know what to ask. And I think that's completely okay. But what I would suggest is, let's just say you get your prescription for the first time. There's a medication insert in all new prescriptions. Take time to read that. Identify with the side effects that you may experience. And side effects are not end all be all. I like to tell patients all the time, a lot of times side effects can be worst case scenarios. It may affect you, it may not. But if it does, it's good for you to know, say, hey, I read that this medication is going to cause diarrhea. I'm having diarrhea, but I also know COVID caused diarrhea. Do I have COVID, or is this new medication I'm taking? So now you can kind of talk yourself off a ledge that way because you're educating yourself. The other thing too is asking the pharmacist questions after you've educated yourself on things that you may not know about a medication. It creates a better conversation. It allows them to actually facilitate real answers for you, because there are millions of things that we know, but we can't touch on every single thing every single time. But if you have direct questions, direct concerns that you have, ask those things, speak up about those things. The pharmacist is definitely there to help you. And what we are taught in school is not to necessarily know everything, because that's impossible, right? But what we are taught is to be able to find out things. We're taught how to research things. We're taught how to make connections between things. So that is what we're really taught how to do. And so that's where our expertise comes into play. So absolutely, if you have questions, you can always call the pharmacy to ask questions.
Thank you. That was so helpful, because I'm one of those people. I'm like, I'm not asking them. I'm just gonna go. And sometimes, I'm like, I really need to ask. Like, I really should have asked. Especially for, just from my experience, when you've been diagnosed with a mental illness, the initial shock. I mean, it's like I tell everybody, an illness is an illness. I mean, that initial shock is fear. I have taken antipsychotics, I have taken SSRIs, and so the initial is just like, oh man, and so you even have a stigma. So then you're afraid. You go to the pharmacy. Is my pharmacist going to have a stigma? And so I like that you talking about that, and your pharmacists are there to help you and kind of educate you on these medications. So I wonder if, let's say I've spoken with, my psychiatrist, or, my just general practitioner, and I say, this medication is making me feel some type of way. Like I feel like I have more suicidal thoughts. I feel, more depressed. Can my pharmacist help me advocate? Like, I guess maybe legally, can you all kind of step in, or like, how does that go?
So what I like to recommend for people, and this is just for anything. This is not just for mood stabilizers, as I like to call them, not depression meds or anything like that. Mood stabilizers, because we all have our mood swings, right? So we're just stabilizing our mood. I mean, let's be truthful about it. I like to say always keep some sort of medical diary. Okay, if we're on medications, we should keep some type of medical diary. Um, a doctor that I go to, she's an OBGYN. She works me from the head to the toe. And one thing that she always suggests for me to do is to keep a track record of my cycle. So she wants me to use my app to keep a track record of my cycle so that when I go to her, she can look through my app and say, okay, your cycle was this many days this time, it was this many days this time, your weight was up, your temperature was rising, so she can figure out what's going on with me. When patients go to a doctor and they say, oh, I was having, suicidal ideations, and that's it, a physician doesn't have much to work with, right?
Right.
But by keeping a diary, something that just says, hey, I took this is a new medication for me, I'm feeling great, or hey, I'm taking this new medication, I'm not feeling my best, it's causing me to feel cranky, I'm feeling like I'm just really not having the best thoughts right now. Having that type knowledge, having that type of documentation works 10 times better inside of a doctor's office versus just coming in there saying, I don't know, I just can't do this no more. Or
Right.
even having a pharmacist step in saying, hey, he just said he can't do this no more. We're all the same, but
Right.
I'm not with you 24/7, and neither is that physician. The only person who's with you 24/7 is you. So it's up to you to make sure that you take take the right steps to make sure that you're writing things down. You're taking an active interest in your healthcare, because while everybody is important to all of us, everybody is still important to everybody. So we have to make sure that we take the most important care of ourselves, because we're only as important as we make ourselves, So that's what I would like to say to that. It's not that we can't, it's more or less that you have more power than we would ever have, but it's all about in the way that you document things and you keep a record of things, because when you keep a record of things, it makes things so much easier. It makes things so much more practical for a physician to make changes. For an example, another example is, I tell my patients that are new to diabetes meds or blood pressure meds, I tell them all the time, you don't have to be on this forever. You don't. Diet and exercise. That's what's going to get you off this medication. But in addition to that, keep a tally of how your levels are. When you have your blood pressure, take your blood pressure every morning after you use the bathroom. Literally take it 3 times a week. See where your levels are. If you find that your levels are lower than what you would like it, you're feeling dizzy all the time, chances are you probably shouldn't be on that blood pressure medicine. But when you go to the doctor's office, they have something called white coat syndrome. Typically, your blood pressure is higher when you get there. So a doctor may put you on a blood pressure medication unnecessarily, because once you came to the doctor's office, your blood pressure was high. But if you're able to advocate for yourself by bringing in that documentation, showing the doctor your progress, showing that you're taking your medication, but you're still not, but your results are being lower than expected, you can advocate for yourself in saying, hey, I want to be taken off of this. And he probably will. No one is out there. People are not out to hurt people. And as a pharmacist, yes, I'm the pill person, but honestly, I think people are better off doing things their natural way, letting the body handle itself the way it should. But and like I said, we're all on mood stabilizers. We're all doing something that's going to increase our mood, whether it's medication, whether it's exercise, whether it's eating. We're all just stabilizing our mood. So it's all about what you want to do and how you want to do it. But if it's working for you, absolutely, that's great. Do it. If it's working, let it work. But if it's not, say that. Speak up about it. Don't just take anything because you want to take it. I tell my patients all the time, if there's something that they don't want, would you like me to put this back? I'm more than happy to do that. It's okay, because I want you to be able to advocate for yourself. And if you don't feel like this is something that you need, then that's fine.
That was so powerful. Yeah. That was so powerful. Especially, thank you so much for talking about just keeping track of, of like you said, of your mood. And someone, I think Jessica, my good friend Jessica Jimeno, she's an amazing mental health advocate. She said, I use my mood tracker app, and that's really efficient. And so that's really important. So thank you so much, because I totally forget a lot of times that there are apps that can kind of track those things, and we can, or
Absolutely.
even if you like just the old pen and paper and you want to journal and you want to, and that really does, I'm so glad you said it, because it really does help your therapist, it helps your psychiatrist, it helps your general MD, it helps you to be able to say, you know what, something's off, like I don't know what's up, but something is really off. So thank you so much. I think more people are saying that's so empowering, and you just put it in perspective. But we don't think about those things. Like we really don't. We really don't think about those things, and we don't, like you said, we just don't know what to ask. We don't know, we just kind of don't know what to say. So thank you so much. So just because I know, like I said, I know Instagram, they will cut you off. So I keep looking at the time. I'm like, oh. And guys, don't forget, if you have questions for Jessica or myself, just start putting them in the comments so we can go ahead and touch. If there's something that maybe we don't talk about, please do not be afraid to ask. Like, we are here
Please
to
ask.
help you. Please ask. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, let's say I run out of medication. Let's say I'm right, like, oh my God, and I can't get to the psychiatrist, especially with COVID. Like, COVID's going on, everybody's doing telehealth. You kind of, it's kind of like everybody's like all over the place. What can I do? Should I contact should I keep trying to contact my health professional, or is there a way that I can come into the pharmacy and maybe get like some pills to last for maybe a week or something, or what should I do?
So during COVID, that's a great question. During COVID-19, we're in a different type of space, right? But there are benefits to this. One of them being is that under the state, what do we call it? The executive order, what do you call these things? Stay at home order. I
Stay at
can't
home
remember what
order.
it's called. Yeah, the stay at home address. So while we're still under that, pharmacists can actually authorize a 90-day supply per medication. Wow. Without having to consult with the physician. We use our judgment behind that. Of course, okay. I personally probably wouldn't do it for someone who has where there's a brand new medication. Mm-hmm. But for something that somebody's been on for years, I definitely feel like if you need it, it's better for you to have it than to just go without it just because you can't get in the doctor's office. Truth be told, there are doctor's offices right now that have not been in office since March. There are doctors that I found out that have contracted coronavirus, and they literally have been out of the office. And so, we're calling, and no one's answering. So, believe it or not, that is one of the benefits of the executive order right now, and that is in the state of Georgia. And that's all I can speak on in the state of Georgia. The other thing too is, of course, all pharmacies can always give an emergency supply at minimum 3 days. Okay. And that brings me to one other point that I like to say, and this is for anybody, just because the same way we pick our doctors, the same way we pick our churches, the same way we pick our schools, and, relatively speaking, the same way we pick what restaurant we want to go eat because the store on the south side has better service than the store on the north side. You have to be that way about your pharmacy. If you feel like you're not getting the type of service that you deserve, if you feel like that pharmacist is not being personable with you, then it might be time for you to change. And it's okay, because you have rights, and everybody should be able to feel like they're welcome. Everybody should be able to feel like, people are going above and beyond for them. And so just keep that in mind as well. When it's time for you to make a decision about the pharmacy that you want to deal with, make sure that the pharmacist is somebody who is working with you as well. But those are the type of things that we have the autonomy to do right now.
Thank you. So I did not. Okay, so you just blew my mind with that. Like all of that, I did not know, like at all. So that is really helpful. I have been in a situation where I like lost my insurance, but I had a new job, and it was like so I was kind of in that space, and I made the decision, and I've learned from this situation now. But I was like, oh well, I just can't get any medicine. So then there I was with no medication. I didn't reach out to CVS or Walgreens or wherever. I didn't reach out to the pharmacy. I didn't reach out to my mental health professional. I didn't reach out to my general practitioner. I just cold turkey. And I know like the repercussions of that were dire. And so I have now learned like how important it is to kind of keep track of those things. And we all know that, medication works for some and it doesn't, some people don't, they don't need it. So thank you so much for that, because I know a lot of people go through that and have gone through that of maybe the loss of insurance and just not knowing like, what can I do? How can I afford this medication? Like, where do I go? So thank you so much for that. And just, getting more information around that. That was
Right.
that you just blew my mind.
And let me also bring light to the fact that, okay, if you're out of medication, first off, again, talk to your pharmacist. That's the first thing. Second of all, if price is an issue, okay, you have options. One, GoodRx is a medication discount card that you can use. Publix gives away, I think, 7 medications for free.
Wow.
So, and some of them, I think escitalopram might be one of them. If you don't live in the state of Georgia, Georgia also gives away some free medications, some free some mood stabilizers as well for free. So check out your local Sam's Club for those type of medications. If you live in Georgia, Sam's Club is also a great option for medications that they have a plus member list. So like if you don't have any insurance whatsoever, just have a straight Sam's Club membership, you get discounts on your medications. You don't need a membership to even use the pharmacy. So those are some of the benefits that you may not know. And I used to work for another retailer, and flat out medications were at minimum $11.99. Walmart, Sam's, Publix, you'll find that a lot of these prices are a lot less. So that's something to consider. That's something to think about when you're trying to get medication. If you're out of medication, shop around. If it's something that's a dire emergency for you. I don't recommend withdrawing from medications cold turkey all the time. A lot of times I suggest you wean yourself off of them, especially some of the ones that impact like how you sleep, your mood, those type of things. You want to wean yourself off of those things, just as you want to titrate yourself up to those things. So sometimes when you start new medications, you may want to take one every other day before you just hop into one daily. And when you withdraw from those medications, you want to do the same thing. You want to maybe stop one every other day until you're able to stop it completely. So, but definitely I would not suggest that. And there are plenty of pharmacists around, I'm sure, in everybody's network. Reach out to them. And that, we're here. And so is, we have physicians and nurse practitioners in our network. I reach out to a nurse practitioner friend of mine all the time. And people reach out to me all the time. Like I highly suggest we use our network, because we're here and we want to help. We want to help our community. So if you need something, definitely reach out and ask anybody.
Thank you so much. Girl, let me tell you, you are help. I mean, I get a lot of questions about medication a lot. That's a huge, just
Yeah.
a concern. And so I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm like, I can just
Yeah.
tell you on my experience. So thank you. I'm looking at the time. Okay, we're good. We good.
Okay.
So anybody, let me see what this somebody, if anybody said something. I know we had a lot of people kind of joining in and putting comments. And so I just want to make sure I haven't missed anyone. Hey, everybody who's joining in. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them. Jessica T. Field, she's a pharmacist. If you have any pharmaceutical questions, any guidance, or any advice maybe that she can give you, if you want to be a pharmacist and you kind of don't know, what to do. And so Jessica, so I have a question for the people who may want to kind of go down this path. What part of I know you talked about how much of the community you're involved in, and so just what is your advocacy just around just trying to promote going to school for being a pharmacist? Like how do you feel about that? Like, I don't know, like I said, the Black community, we see a lot of numbers dropping as far as like the health field. And so I know FAMU, of course, they do an amazing job with recruitment and things like that. But are there any tips that you can maybe give someone who's a student right now who's like, I want to be a pharmacist, but man, that's gonna be a tough road. Like any tips you have for them?
So I would honestly say the pharmacy profession has changed dramatically. Right now, entering it right now, it has to be something that you are probably want to do more for a clinical reason. Um, I think that, the community side of pharmacy is a great portion of the profession, but it really depends on who you work for. And I hate to say that, but that's just the God's honest truth. It depends on who you work for. Not all pharmacies are made the same, and God knows that has a lot to do with probably why, people feel the way they feel about pharmacists. But I'm blessed to be in a great situation that I really enjoy. But if I wasn't, I wouldn't say that I would probably be as happy. Um, and so it really depends on, where you want to be at when it comes to pharmacy. If I were a student, I would definitely ensure right now to be looking into things post graduation. I wouldn't jump straight into the workforce straight out of graduation right now. I would definitely be looking into trying to pursue residencies or fellowships post graduation from pharmacy school. So it really, really depends on where you want to be at in the long haul. But there is the opportunities are truly endless. They really are. But you really got to do your research. You really got to know where you want to fit in with this, because you can get sucked into something and literally 20 years down the line, you're doing the exact same thing. So it's important that you do your research on the front end and ensure that you're positioning yourself to where you can be somewhere where you want to be at 20 years from now, and not being sucked into this rabbit hole or this treadmill, just trying to work to live and live to work. So that's what I would recommend to students who are pursuing pharmacy right now.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. So, guys, I don't have any more questions. I'm gonna say you did such a good job. Like you answered, I'm like, oh man, she answered like all of my questions like perfectly. I just want to say thank you so much, Jessica, for doing this. It has been a pleasure. Like I said, I've known Jessica for a long time. I love her. She's like my baby. So yeah, so thank you so much for providing this information. And really, I think we don't, like I said in the beginning, we don't really think about, this light keeps going on and off. We don't really think about our pharmacists as a part of our mental health treatment plan. And we don't really think about how we can really use them. And if we have these concerns about medication, if we're taking this medicine and I'm like, I don't think I should pair this with this medication that this person gave me, we can
Yep.
speak up, like you said, and advocate for ourselves, and talk to pharmacists and talk to pharmacy techs and say, what should I do? And I think what I like pretty much what you said was, you advocate for yourself and we will help you advocate for yourself. And I think that's like, you guys are there to help us. You guys are there to assist us better help ourselves possibly get off of medication, and so that really, just kind of brought it full circle, for me. And like I said, I've never, seen anybody sit down, especially in the mental health community, and have a conversation with someone who's a pharmacist to really go in depth and talk about, how you can get these medications, where you can go, what you should be asking, and how you should be really advocating for yourself. So thank you so much. Just let everyone know where they can find you at and how they can reach you if they have any more questions before we go.
Absolutely. So I'm on Instagram. My name is J Renee 44. So it's JRENE 44. I'm on Facebook, Jessica Thornton Fields, and Twitter, J Renee 44. You can definitely access me there. LinkedIn, Jessica Thornton Fields. For all of my pharmacy students, if you would like to connect. So yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay, for having this platform, for allowing me to speak on it. This was so exciting. And I'm just really gracious and blessed, and I feel thankful to be able to share some of the knowledge that I share with my patients every single day. Just being able to just do this for people who are my age and my peers and people in the social world has been absolutely just wonderful for me tonight. So I'm really thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Guys, you can watch this. This episode will be on IGTV. Like I said, if you ever have any questions for Jessica, definitely reach out. If you don't want to ask her specifically, you can send them to me and I will message her and get the
Please.
information for you. We are here to help you. This is what the work is, guys. We have to include everybody. Mental health care is not just a one person thing. This is a community. We are a community, especially in our community, the Black community. We know that it takes a village, really, and it takes support, and we need every single person that we can kind of lean on. Like, hey, I need your help, I need your support through this. So, everybody have a great night. Again, thank you so much, Jessica. You have a wonderful night, and I will see everybody later.
All right. Thank
Bye,
you.
Jess.
All right. Bye.